We never mentioned Haaland. This is the only season he's actually been brought up. He's gonna have to do this consistently. And I know he could come out and do it next season, score 30 again. But he's gonna have to do that consistently. Win the Champions League, all of those things. Because, the French Football Federation, they're really, really, really weird when it comes to picking their Ballon d'Or people.
Fair enough. He mentioned all those names, but he forgot to mention a certain GOAT. But moving on from him, and to Fry, what do you make of Haaland this season? Out of 1 to 10, how would you rate his performance? And secondly, what are his odds, in your opinion, of winning the Ballon d'Or? Why or why not?
To put it simply, Haaland's season has been a 10 out of 10. You'd be delusional to think any other way, to be honest. He's a freak of nature. We all can see with our eyes. He's not a normal footballer and not a normal striker, on a level above superstar, to me at least. Right? As it relates to City, as it relates to Haaland getting the Ballon d'Or, I don't think he has a chance. No, as it stands. But if City wins the treble, I think he definitely should win. But the bias is he probably might, but he should win if City wins the treble. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I just want to say before you move on, so in Van Persie's season with United, 12-13 season, he missed 13 games where he scored 28 goals. Would he not have broken that record earlier?
One can say yes, but you never know with this sport because injury also plays a part.
Mm-hmm.
One man could say, "Oh, wouldn't Sadio Mane have done amazingly at Bayern if he had not been injured?" It's like saying that, "Oh, he did it in the Prem. Of course, he can do it there." Injuries are a part of football, and I think that when counting stats, we have to keep the injury into consideration because it's very difficult. As you said, a lot of strikers, good strikers too, have gone 9 games without scoring, right? A certain Romelu Lukaku went a whole long time. Look at Timo Werner. Timo Werner went like 6 games without scoring until he got a penalty.
You mean 6 seasons?
So you never know, right? Form is temporary, as we all know, but class is permanent. So honestly, maybe not. I'm leaning more towards it. Maybe because of how good that team was and how good he was. But at the same time, we have to respect the injury.
Go on.
All right. And moving on from Erling Haaland to another Ballon d'Or contender, Messi, Lionel Andres Messi. He has been suspended by Paris Saint-Germain for the next 2 weeks, apparently for taking an unauthorized trip to Saudi Arabia after their loss in the league. Jackson.
Sorry. Look, I'm not going to dwell on this long because, as Messi said, I thought we had a day off after the game. I mean, I don't see an issue. We know that the only issue is due to Qatar owning PSG and Qatar not liking Saudi Arabia because Saudi Arabia wants Messi and giving him a lot of money, and then he went to Saudi Arabia and then he did this whole apology interview with no pants on, So I'm not going to dwell on that. But it's just 2 weeks. I mean, the fans already don't like him down there. It's 2 weeks off from the games, no problem. I mean, he's still getting paid. They didn't suspend him without pay. And he's earning quite a lot.
Yeah, fair enough, man. The report I saw is that he got suspended 2 weeks without pay, which is about £1.3 million. But £1.3 million won't dent his pockets at this point in time.
Mm-mm.
So, what I want to ask you now, Fry, is considering Messi's season. Alright? We all know PSG don't deserve Messi. Their fans are ungrateful. They're a mid-team at the best. They have a world-class front three, but their defense and midfield, well, especially the midfield, is pretty shocking. They wouldn't outpass Norwich.
Norwich.
Save Messi and Verratti. Fry, where do you see this PSG team heading next season after possibly losing Messi, asking Neymar to leave, and losing their poster boy Kylian Mbappe to maybe Real Madrid, maybe Manchester City? Liverpool. We don't know with the Qatari takeover going on in the background, but what do you make of this?
Yeah, so PSG, I don't think they'll drop to a mid-table side in League One. I think that's impossible. I don't, even though they do, if they lose a lot of their talent, I think they have the funds to just recruit more talent. Might not be on the same level as Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, but I don't think the Qataris will allow PSG to drop too low as it relates to the quality in League One. Messi, however, I think Messi should come to the Prem. I would love to see that. It would be a dream of mine to see Messi in the Prem. So that's where Messi should be heading. Forget about the millions. He's already filthy rich. So don't go to Qatar or don't go to Saudi Arabia. Sorry, come to the Prem. Yeah, I'll be texting him later. Just saying on IG.
Praise on it.
Yeah. I mean, in the Premier League, there's only one team that he will slot into, and that would be Manchester City. It is the love of his life, not Antonella, I mean Pep.
Yep.
It would be amazing to see him, a match made in heaven. But if he does go, then a question of a selection headache pops up. Because as we know, De Bruyne's spot in the team is pretty much all guaranteed. So is Rodri. But then there's a certain Portuguese fellow by the name of Bruno Fernandes, and a certain German by the name of Ilkay Gundogan, who may be misplaced unless there's a formation change.
Did you just say Bruno plays for Man City?
What?
Did you just say Bruno plays for Man City?
No.
Yes, you did.
I said Bernardo.
You said Bruno Fernandes, lad. But continue. We don't got time to argue right now.
No, man. I swear I said Silva. But Bernardo Silva, he looks the most likely to leave. Barcelona are prowling in the shadows, waiting on their opportunity to snap the gazelle by its neck. Where do you guys think Silva ends up? Do you think that somehow, some way, he stays and fights for his place, somehow pushing Messi onto the bench? Or do you see him leaving to find life elsewhere? Because that's the most viable option at this point in time. Even at 30 odd years of age, no one can outshine Lionel.
I'm saying this and I'm only going to take 30 seconds. Bernardo Silva joining Barcelona would be like them having Messi again. Someone with close control, a short guy, left-footed. He can run, but he's not electric fast. Really good talent on the ball. It would be just like having Messi again, right? It wouldn't be the same, obviously. He's not the little Argentine, but it would be just like having Messi again, and they wouldn't have to sacrifice half the squad to get him.
I mean, they don't have to sacrifice half the squad right now. I mean, Bernardo Silva, it has been quite evident that Pep Guardiola has been using him less and less recently. Of course, that could be due to injuries that we're not allowed to know about. Or maybe that could be a sign that he doesn't have any sky. Now, Messi, when you think about it, Messi will obviously be the most expensive player. But then think about the shirt sales, think about the sponsorship deals. It would make sense to bring in Messi on a mega money contract, maybe not a 400 million, but instantly becoming City's highest player, even for 1-2 seasons. Yeah, you have more squad depth, you can give De Bruyne breaks, and at the same time, you can play two of them in the important matches and watch magic happen. He's the magic man, as a certain commentator said after his World Cup triumph. But Fry, what do you make of me? Do you think this transfer could work? Especially considering that Messi is a feeder and Haaland is a finisher. And if not Haaland, Messi will be linking up with his national teammate, fellow World Cup winner Julian Alvarez. Do you think that move would be excellent or not?
Of course, I think it would be excellent. As it relates to the side of City. One thing Pep does really well is rotating his side, and the players have accepted that they probably won't start every match. You know, they'll be rotated no matter how good they are, no matter the form. He will rotate his team. So I don't think, even if he gets Messi, I don't think Messi will play every single match, even though they love each other very much. You know, he'll still be rotated. Other players will have time. I don't think Bernard will need to leave unless it's a case like Raheem Sterling where he believes he should be starting every match. But I think it would be a great transfer. It would just increase City's depth to a whole different level compared to everybody else in the league. But I still think that with squad depth, it comes with learning how to manage the side and to make the side work together well and gelling. So I think Pep can do that.
Yeah, and then the crazy thing is that I'm going to say to the two of you is that it's a common misconception that City don't have fans.
But they don't.
Yeah. Sorry, so my Wi-Fi is kind of bad right now. But it's a common misconception that City has no fans. Do you think that with Messi coming in, they could sell out a stadium?
They'd get fans then. I mean, bro, they can't fill a 50,000 capacity stadium in the Etihad right now. And they supposedly have Erling Haaland, De Bruyne are the best players in the world. Like, bruh, they ain't got fans. Any City fan that exists is our age, because before that, City were literally Norwich. Up, down, doesn't matter, they're somewhere. No one cared. Bro, you there?
Alright, so I still think that as well, you know. City should be able to fill a stadium because City plays immaculate football. But football is all about fans, and it has a certain level of pride and togetherness, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think in 5 years or so, City will fill a stadium, definitely. It will take a while, but City should be able to fill a stadium soon.
Yeah, and well, Sav is kind of...
Alright.
Oh, he's back. Okay, good. Well, bro, you got 2 minutes to do your thing, and then call your internet people and tell them to piss off.
Yeah. And the final thing that I want to say is that, and this is not a question, this is a statement. City wins the league this season. Manchester City will win the Premier League. There's no two ways about it.
Brighton beating them and Everton dropping points?
They're not going to drop points. They've beaten they're there in the clear, in my opinion. Arsenal beats Newcastle today, which is excellent for us as Manchester United fans, excellent for Liverpool fans. But at the same time, there's no chance. But with that, we wrap up today's show. Thank you so much to Jackson Bryan, and especially the new face on the show, Andrew Wright, aka Fry. Is there anything you guys want to say before we inevitably wrap up?
Well, firstly, Fry, again, good job. Don't know if you'll be here next week, we'll see. And I'm glad you brought up Sterling. A certain someone said Sterling would win the Golden Boot. We don't have time for that discussion, but I just remember that. But hey, good show again, guys, as per usual. We always do quality. Vamos, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bro one.
Jeezy Sports, tune in for the offline tour. Like and subscribe some more. With Jackson Bryan and Ram the Savage, me talk about Jeezy Sports. Tune in for the offline tour. Like and subscribe some more. With Jackson Bryan and Ram the Savage, me talk about Jeezy Sports.